I'm in my old yard doing a little chop and drop, and back in here are some Dioscorea alata. This time of year they've gone into dormancy, and this is before they wake up again. So I found one back here, and then I thought I'll film this, but there's way too much stuff in the way for you guys to see. So this is behind the scenes with David the Good. Behind the greens with David the Good. This is some of my mom's coffee. You see how black that is? It's like, it's incredible. It's like you stick a fork in it. I mean, she uses like an entire acre of coffee beans probably. If you were to think of how much space it takes to grow, that is a lot of coffee. Just about had a heart attack having one of her cups the other day. She's so chill too. So this is a yam right here. This is the Dioscorea alata, and this is alata because it's going way down in here, and we don't know how big it is yet. So what I do when you find that the top of it dies back at this time of year, so when you find the top of it, then you start moving down and seeing how big it is. And if you can feel around it and it's real skinny and there doesn't seem to be much of anything there, well, you just leave it. This is last year's yam growth. That's no good anymore. And it's desiccated and nothing to it. These things are way more fun to dig in the sand than they are to dig in the clay. I'll tell you that. Because this would take me a long time to dig if I were digging it out of clay like I have back home. But in here, oh yeah, we're getting it. I like to hand dig these when you have soft enough sand instead of using utensils, because it's very easy to lose the edge and end up snapping a big piece of it off. Whew, I can feel it. But when you have this nice soft sand, oh man, it's like perfect for growing yams. So for those of you who don't have sand, or you think sand is a terrible thing,
it's coarse and rough and irritating.
It's not for root crops. Sand is wonderful for root crops, and it's wonderful for weeding because it's so easy to pull the roots out. I am going to dig in there a little bit. So you just pretend you're a dog. There we go. Hey preppers, if you're in Florida, this is your calorie source. If you're a vegetarian, you need a lot of carbohydrates to maintain your trips to Whole Foods. That's what you got. This is the yam we just dug up, and over here, these are the bulbils, or the hanging aerial roots. In the spring, if you plant one of these on the ground, in the spring, it will grow up and it'll shoot a vine up into the air, and then it will reach for the sky. When it comes to the fall and the winter, it starts to die back to the ground. When you see that the vines have died back to the ground, look for the head of it, start digging around it, see if it feels like a big one. Feels like a big one, dig it up. You can eat it, or you can leave it in the ground, and the next year you'll get an even bigger yam. You can propagate it for these guys here. That's the easiest way. These grow on the vines. But if you only have a yam, you could cut this yam up into pieces, dip them in some ashes, plant them, and you could plant them in the fall, the winter, the spring. They're going to pop up usually about in April, and then you're going to have your yams. And that's, of course, one of my favorite crops. And you can check out my other video on propagating yams from mini sets. And then you don't need these bulbils to do it. You can just get a yam. You can even get varieties of yam from Publix or whatever supermarket you have and do the same thing. Thanks for joining me. I hope you decide to grow some yams of your own. There are a lot of different varieties. They're a lot of fun to grow, and they're very easy to grow in areas with mild winters. If you live farther up north, you can grow the Chinese yam, which is also known as the cinnamon vine. But if you're down to the south, you can grow the greater yam, the lesser yam, and a variety of Dioscoreas from the tropics. So check it out, and you can learn a lot more about yams by going to my website, thesurvivalgardener.com, and looking up the word yams. Not sweet potatoes, yams. The Dioscorea family. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, may your thumbs always be green.
I went to see David the Good. We listened to Portishead and drank spiced rum.
Here's the root that we dug up. This is the part you want to eat. These right here are the hanging bulbils, or aerial roots, that you can plant. The vine makes these. Whoa, I'm in a fire ant hill. Gosh, they're like all bad spot. All right, let's try that again.